I escaped the ruins, but only barely. Whatever Octavia did, it collapsed nearly the entire underground city. Everyone agreed. She could not possibly have survived. I spun a story that, in those final desperate moments beneath the city, we had put aside our differences to end the threat to our country, and she had heroically given her life so that I might survive. The best lies always hold just a little bit of truth. I was able to bring most of the legions loyal to Octavia into my army, and the rest scattered or fell to simple raiding. With the capital in my possession, driving off the invaders who I'd skirmished with earlier proved an easy task. They were no match for a skilled commander safe behind impenetrable walls. My favor for Melissa I spent well. The Council of Princes quickly ratified my claim to the throne. Even without convincing, they would have had a difficult time doing otherwise. There were no other reasonable candidates available, and none of the princes had any desire to take command of an empire in the state Venumia was in. Once I had stabilized the country, however, I had no doubt that the knives would begin to appear. The damage Warren had done was more extensive than I had realized. The strange soul-gathering mission he had put Octavia to had in fact been intended to weaken the barrier between our world and the Void, or so my soulmancers told me. As the barrier weakened, the condition of the Empire deteriorated. These weak spots could not be directly repaired, but stabilizing the Empire, I was told, would cause them to heal themselves. So, I consolidated power. I abandoned some of the more distant, less defensible provinces. I tasked the army with civil repairs and defense of our trade routes. Did not make me popular, at first. I stayed the course, and in time my policies showed dividends that made me beloved by the people and the army, if not the princes. I founded schools that taught Boronish history and theology, and poured money into restoring hallowed Boronish sites across the Empire. By any account, I had achieved all I'd ever desired in life, and more. But when the two friends who you love most in all the world bury knives in your back and die before your eyes, your heart hardens more than a little. It would not happen again. The halls of the palace are never silent, but the only voice I hear in my chambers is my own. When all those you love have died by fate's hand, or yours, the world is a cold and empty place. Once I dismissed David's Court of Heroes as pointless. They had failed to prevent Tyr's destruction, so what good were they? Perhaps they were, or perhaps not. In the end, it matters very little. But I do know that I would sacrifice my empire in an instant if it would take me back to a time when I had friends. Once I'd taken the throne, I directed my scribes to dig up whatever they could on Cecile. Yes, she was most likely dead, but she was still a rival in the minds of the people, and if I could convince them of her treachery, real or invented, I could blunt her posthumous danger to my reign. Though they uncovered some of the sort of disreputable rumors I had hoped for, they also collected information that began to paint a picture of what she had done once we parted ways in the camp, after hearing of her father's death. What I'd taken for a cold willingness to slaughter her citizens for gain appeared to have been a calculated choice from a difficult position. Not a compassionate decision, to be sure, but one I was hard-pressed to find a better answer to. The more I read, the more I began to see in her the one person in all the Empire who could possibly have understood what it meant to be Emperor. I felt that, at the very least, I could recover her body from the ruins beneath the capital and give her a state funeral. No sooner had the excavation begun, however, that we encountered an obstacle. A solid wall of force that, so far as my soulmancers could tell me, completely enclosed something and was absolutely impenetrable. I became convinced, or convinced myself, that somewhere on the other side of that wall, Cecile was alive. Whenever I could find time, I came to the wall to search for anything. A hole, a weakness, even a dent. But it was as I had been told. Impenetrable. Damn this thing. It's responding to its brother. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Of course not.